Everybody, did you enjoy that trailer, you guys? Deception coming to ABC. I'm Ezekiel III sitting here with Future Man, but we've got a couple of the stars and the showrunner of the new show, Deception, that we just saw the trailer for, but also the first episode premiered at the panel you guys were at. How's it going, guys? We got Jack Cutmore-Scott, who plays Cameron Black. We've got Ilfinesh, yes.
Hey, guys.
Ilfinesh Hadera, and we've got the showrunner, Chris Fedak.
Hi, everybody. Thanks
Yeah. Excellent. I'm excited about this. I've always been a big fan of magic. I like the idea of fooling people and pulling one over on them, but with love, with care. Can you tell me where the idea for the show came from, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And when we first started talking about the show, it was like there were the producers, Greg Berlanti and Martin Guerra, wanted to do a show with magic in it, and I had no ideas for a magic show. But as we kind of started talking about it, I started thinking about the magic team. I was like, because every illusionist has a team that works with them that kind of makes all these things possible. And I grew up on shows about teams, A-Team, Magnum PI, Mission Impossible. These were all shows about a group of people, and so I started, thinking about, an illusionist, and working with the FBI and having a team of people, and it got me excited. And I think that the idea of doing a big network show in that way is new, and there's nothing quite like it on TV right now.
I absolutely agree. As a fan of magic, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I love the attitude of the character of Cameron Black. Can you tell me a little bit about him, like what he's like? Because he seems like kind of a roguish, like
roguish. Yeah, no, roguish is good. Cameron is a performer, right? So he's spent his entire life on the stage, tricking people, but as you say, with love.
Yeah.
And that kind of informs every single one of his relationships. He thinks he can get away with an awful lot more than he should be able to get away with, and he frequently does, but it also occasionally blows up in his face. So he's cheeky. But he's got a really good heart, but he has a funny way of showing it sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the counterpart to that, Ilfinesh plays the, I didn't write down the name, I'm sorry. What's the name of your character?
Her name is Kay Daniels. Agent Kay Daniels with the
Excellent.
FBI.
Agent Kay Daniels, the counterpart. Tell me about her.
She's an FBI agent, a seasoned FBI agent, and her life's work is kind of catching guys like him who use their abilities criminally. So the idea of deception and trickery is not particularly welcome to her at first, and then she realizes Cameron's one of the good ones.
Not all bad.
He's
yeah.
not all bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say is smitten with him at all, but there is a certain allure that magic does have, and I think very quickly she's kind of interested in what he can do, and how he can help her and the FBI with his talent.
Yeah. How does he get involved with the FBI? Like, can we say that? Because it's kind of in the trailer a little bit.
It is.
Okay, maybe we.
Well, it's like
They're telling secrets over here, man.
through what we learned in the first few minutes of the show, where there will be a big reveal that will require Cameron Black to, essentially his career is ruined, and to get it back on track, and to prove something. He will have to work.
All very
he will have to
cryptic
work.
here.
We're working this out in front of you guys. This is how much preparation went into this. But essentially, he has to work with the FBI to right the wrong that was done to his life, and it's going to be so much cooler than that just sounded. And
no, hey, listen, I do this a lot, and it's okay to be vague. It's okay to say no, I won't tell you.
yeah.
But it's also you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So the two of us really need each other. And I think they kind of see more and more as the series goes on that they do need one another for their individual missions, but also in their own work and lives.
We also really like the idea of essentially the theories of magic. Like when you get into it, we work with a number of magicians, but David Wong is a producer on the show and an incredible magician. And when we sat down, it's like so many of the theories of magic also kind of play into criminality. Like if you're going to rob a bank, if you're going to steal things, you know, that you are using that same skill set to trick people and deceive people. And so an illusionist brings his own, you know, Cameron brings his own perspective to many of the cases and the crimes that we're going to come across. And it also speaks to the bigger mythology of the show, you know, essentially getting behind who our mystery woman is and why she's done these things to Cameron Black. And that's the heart of the show. There's a procedural element to it, there's cases, but really there's a much bigger mythology that, you know, we'll get into.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you guys about the process.
I forgot you were here.
Yeah.
Oh.
I appeared from nowhere. I wanted to ask you guys about getting into these characters. Did you get any hands-on experience with either people on the FBI side or in your case, like actual magicians? Did you guys go and train with these individuals to learn more about this? What was involved in that process?
Well, as they've heard me say a number of times now, I'd never held a gun prior to the pilot, and obviously being an FBI agent, you need to be well-versed in handling weapons. So
you figured out you don't hold it sideways.
You don't hold it sideways.
Okay, all right.
You know, you've got there are real things to look for in proper holding of a firearms, right? So you don't want your gun to slip out of your hands. You've got to really get with your. Now I'm getting very technical, but there's a shooting range in Ridgewood, Queens. That's just a wonderful facility. It's called Weapons Limited. They've got this huge arsenal of guns.
So they had you go out and just fire some guns off.
Fire. I mean, it's a real responsibility. You know, you see the power that comes with firing some of these weapons, and it's like you got to take a step back, and it kind of takes your breath away for a minute.
Yeah.
But we also have a consultant on the show. She consults on blind spot as well. She was an FBI agent for, I want to say, close to 2 decades. I could be totally making that up.
That's correct.
I think, and she's just the coolest, sweetest, most generous person to have on set with us. You know, to keep us real and to ground us and to say, yeah, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't kick in a door that way because there might be a booby trap or things that civilians don't think of because we don't. We're not walking around looking for.
We don't know.
Danger.
Yeah,
right?
I have no idea.
You know, if it happens upon you, then you're surprised.
You're
but
like, okay.
FBI agents' jobs are to kind of predict where you might run into trouble.
Yeah.
So she keeps it real there, and just questions about what it's like to be a woman, a female agent, and some of the cases that she's worked on. It's fascinating stuff.
Really cool, really cool. And how about
personally?
the magic
I would love
side
to
of
hear
things,
about
right?
because if I didn't go into this, I would have gone into magic.
No way, really.
Oh, I love it. Like I'm a huge like Penn and Teller fanboy, like that kind of stuff. So tell me about your stuff.
Yeah, they don't trust me with guns, so
I feel you.
That's not a thing that I got to do. Instead, I get playing cards and coins and a lot of. Yeah, there are 2 amazing magicians who work on the show, David Wong, who's a producer, and Francis Minotti, who consults on the show as well. And they come up with a lot of the magic that you'll see. I mean, all of it. They devise, they teach me, they work me through everything. So since we shot the pilot, which was in March, I've essentially just been practicing getting comfortable enough with the basic mechanics of magic so that whatever they throw at me week to week, I can hopefully learn on the job. So there's a lot of, it's been a steep learning curve, but it's been a lot of fun.
But that is the crazy thing about our show is that when we came up with Cameron Black, we needed a person who could be funny and charming and handsome and a great showman and also do magic. And the amazing thing is that Jack can actually do all of these things. It's nuts. Like we open our show with a oneer, which is like a long shot. Essentially Cameron walking toward camera, and he is doing magic as he walks. He's doing card tricks. And so much of that is real, it's incredible. It's like essentially Jack is able to learn these magic tricks. And a number of the magicians who have come and worked on the show as consultants and watched him do this, it's upsetting to them. So it's like, they get but everybody gets a kick out of it. And it's so, and also when we look at each one of our stories, we want to do as much magic real that we can. And the other thing we want to do is that everything that happens inside the story, our illusions, our deceptions, are all things that can happen in the real world if we had all the time and money and weren't afraid to break the law. So that's a big component of the show. And thankfully we have an amazing cast that's able to do it.
I'm curious as to what comes first, the magic trick or the script?
It's a combination. It's actually a combination. When I first got into it, it's like I come from a classic place of like, the writers, we come up with the story.
We'd like to make this thing disappear. Can you make that happen? Because it would work well with the script.
But the funny thing is that when we get into it with the illusionists, they will usually have their own ideas on exactly how we would do it in the real world. And so, for me, it's great because like we can actually do stuff that hasn't been done before. There's so many classic examples of scenes that you've kind of seen that we can do our twist on. But the magicians and our illusionists will say, like, well, what if we did it this way? And then that makes it different and new. And so we have a lot of sequences that you just won't see anywhere else.
And you actually came up with a cool name for the style of show this is. What was that name?
Oh, no.
It's a good one. I like it.
No, it was the first thing was like, as we were kind of thinking about the show and like, it's like, is this a show? It's like, when I thought about the team, it was like, oh, it's Magician Impossible.
Yeah, Magician Impossible. You heard it right here.
And in truth, it is. It's like, and we pitched it, and as we kind of conceived of it, it's like what got me excited is like not the idea of like a simple case that we have to solve or a bad guy we have to put behind bars, but the deception part of the show is that there's always going to be a component where we begin to turn and twist everything around, and not only deceive our criminals, but also capture them in ways you just haven't seen before. And also for the audience to give you the idea that you're behind the curtain with us, and that you're going to learn a little bit about the theories and of magic and illusion, and that you will know the stakes. It's like because if the illusion doesn't work in our show, people die. And just going back to the magic of it all, though, we will not reveal the secrets. We will let you in on the theories and the concepts. But we're also very protective. Our magicians are also very good at going like, you can do this, you can do that.
Yep.
You can show this, you can show that. And
I can just bet, man.
If anything happens to me in the next couple of months, it's the magicians who did it, guys.
Well, the show is coming soon to ABC. You can check out any news you want to find out at Deception ABC on Twitter, on Facebook, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming up here and telling us about your show. Check it out on ABC, coming soon, 2018. Don't go away. More stuff to come.